All right. Hello, everyone. Once again, this is Harnessing Your Wealth. And today we're joined by our special guest, Laura Joyner. And Laura, we've known for a while. She actually heads up a foundation. And we're going to spend some time talking about that foundation. It is a special one that helps people in the race industry, horse racing industry. Sam Thompson Memorial Fund. And Sam was a friend of mine and before he was taken tragically from us much too early. And so Laura is kind of carrying on inspiration and the life that he led and providing resources and support to a lot of people who need it. So thanks for joining us, Laura.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
You bet. Kate and I are glad you got on and were able to spend some time with us today and our listeners. So maybe we could just get a little background, start by how did you start? Why did you start? And running a foundation is not an easy task. So
no, it's not.
Gave you the motivation to do that, and tell us a little bit about how it got started.
Originally, the Sam Thompson Memorial Foundation was started to help pay off Sam's expenses from when he was in the hospital following his tragic accident. And originally, it was just at Los Alamitos, and we kept it there for multiple years. We did spread it out to Santa Anita and Del Mar a little bit, but it was a few years before it really grew. And then we went to New Mexico, and then we went into Oklahoma, and we have events in Texas now, and it's just continually grown over the years.
So let's go back there because I want to spend a minute explaining what happened with Sam. So what year was it? 2008,
I believe.
I was going to say 8 or 9. I couldn't remember, but 2008. And
yeah, December 20th, 2008.
Yeah, you guys were out there, right? You and your husband.
We were. Yeah, Cody and I were there that night when it happened.
Right. Tragically, Sam had ridden a horse in a race and pulling up after the finish line, and the horse stumbled, took a bad step, went down. Sam went down. You know, you're still going pretty fast. You know, mind you, you're not just coming to a stop quickly. You're going pretty fast, going around that turn, and the horse went down. Sam went down hard, and you'll have to give me the exact description, but I know he broke his spine.
Yeah, he had previous spine surgeries and had 2 rods in his neck and in his back. And what they believe happened is those 2 rods came together and caused him to have the fatal injury that he had.
And this was sometime in mid-December or so. And he actually lived for a week.
5 days.
Yeah, around 5 days. Kept him alive. And then I believe was it on Christmas Eve or Christmas?
It was on Christmas morning.
Christmas morning when Sam passed away. And amazingly, he was a donor. He chose to donate many of his organs to help so many others survive.
He did. And there was, I believe, 13 or 15, I can't remember the exact number of people that he helped. We even tried, there was a horse hauler out in New Mexico that needed I think it was a kidney transplant, and we tried doing a specific match for him to go to someone in the industry. But there was one little piece that didn't match, and it didn't match up. But that's why they kept him on life support as long as they did, was so he could help as many people as he could by donating organs and other pieces.
Now, Sam, he was a good friend of mine. I knew him. I rode with Sam during my riding career. So that's how I got to know him very well. And I retired long before he tragically passed. But his mark in the industry, you know, lived on. I mean, that's everyone still knows his name, and he still has a lot of record book data points, the big races he won, and accolades and awards. But he was just I think he was a better person than he was a jockey. He was just such a good guy, and everybody liked him. He was always positive, always had a good attitude, and he had that kind of that Southern drawl accent. Didn't he grow up in South Carolina?
Yeah, he was from South or North Carolina. I can't remember at the moment. and grew up there. And then, I mean, that's why they all called him world famous, Sam Thompson, because
Yeah.
everyone liked him. He had that smile, and there wasn't a person that didn't like Sam that I knew of.
Yeah. Heck of a good guy. And you were out there, so that's how you guys got to know him. And then you just kind of took it upon yourself to help raise money for his medical bills.
That was the original deal. He and my husband were really good friends, and he was riding for us for a few years before he passed. When my husband was still training out there at Los Alamitos, and he traveled around to the different tracks with my husband riding, and so we had a really close relationship with him, and we knew there would be lots of medical expenses and things that needed to be taken care of that needed money to pay those bills. So that was our initial beginning of what we now call the Sam Thompson Foundation.
Yeah, it's such a great cause. And, there's so many riders who may survive that type of an injury or an accident, on track accident, but are left with a lifetime of dealing with it. And so that they have other foundations that are out there. I serve on one known as the Permanently Disabled Jockeys Fund, which currently serves approximately 50 permanently disabled jockeys around the country who had a life-altering injury and unable to work, perform any kind of duty. So our foundation is quite large now in recognition of these riders who need support, need help. It's so hard for them to receive insurance and other things on the track because they're almost uninsurable in many cases because of the dangers. It's just a dangerous, dangerous sport. So you basically come in, decided, hey, the medical bills we raised this money for, there's now maybe additional dollars, and we realized people had a lot of support for Sam, and you changed direction in order to keep his memory alive.
Exactly.
So exactly what did you do there?
So once we had and all his bills paid off, we knew everything was closed and taken care of. Everyone was loved our events that we had been doing. We'd been doing golf tournaments and other things in Southern California, and we thought, why are we stopping here? Why are we not helping others? Because that's what Sam would have always done. Let's help anyone who was in need. So at first, we started by just helping riders who had been injured, but it wasn't only just riders. We helped grooms, we helped assistant trainers, assistant starters, farriers, anyone that's involved in horse racing. It wasn't just jockeys because they're not the only ones that get hurt. I mean, it's a dangerous job, many of the jobs on the backside. So that's when we started helping, we had a groom who had a bike get stolen. We had an assistant starter who had her hand crushed in the starting gate and couldn't work. There's just so many different things that people need that aren't the jockeys necessarily.
Right.
You've also expanded that a little bit into helping the younger generation with scholarships and hoping that they can get involved with racing or giving them to people that are already involved with racing. Is that correct?
Yeah, in 2016, we added the scholarship division, we call it, to the foundation, and it's actually become our largest uh, fund that we have. And we give back scholarships around 25 to 30 scholarships a semester for the spring and fall semester, with the requirements being that you have a 2.5 GPA, you are related or involved in horse racing, or your parents or grandparents, somehow relation. And then we also require them to give back to the foundation. We think that they need to be involved, and whether that's selling some 50-50 raffle tickets or volunteering at one of our events or helping with marketing, or I mean, there's all sorts of different ways they can give back, but we do require them to give back.
Is your foundation currently set up with a board of directors where you have regular meetings?
We do. We have a 9-person board, and then we also have an honorary board of people who help out at certain events that aren't necessarily involved in day-to-day activities. And then we divide the different events we have different committees. We have a scholarship review committee. We have a fundraising committee. We have different things, and then different board members work on each committee to help each event be as successful as we can make it.
It's a huge undertaking to run a foundation. I know from experience. Tell
It
me,
is.
tell us what is the most challenging part for you?
The challenging part to me is keeping involvement and getting the volunteers out there to help put on these events so we can raise the money. We have a good foundation group of volunteers. We have a good foundation group of sponsors that we lean on. But as you know, running any sort of nonprofit or anything, there's always more money that can be raised. So it's trying to find the next niche market, the next spot where you can get involved to raise even more money to help grow and give more scholarships or help more people that are
Mm. And that takes a lot of energy on your part. I'm sure there's been times when you question, how long can I keep doing this, right?
injured. That is for sure. I being it was me and Jim Anderson and a couple others, and one of them was Sam's widowed girlfriend that created this foundation. And it was just there was four of us at the time, and it's now grown to where we've had some board members leave, and we've added some new ones, and just trying to keep it all organized. There, once we spread it and added the scholarship fund, we weren't dealing with tens of thousands of dollars. We're dealing with hundreds of thousands of dollars that have to be managed properly, having the right people in place to keep us uh, accredited and make sure everything runs smooth, and we're helping as many as we possibly can.
Hmm. Right. Finding the people that have the energy to stay on the board and continue to contribute. Sometimes people
That
come
is
on
a
with,
big task.
gung ho, but then they fade away for some reason. Trying to
You
find.
get a lot of people that are involved in horse racing, and then they move on and they don't stay involved. There's not a lot of us, as I would say, lifers to the industry who has stayed involved. My husband used to train. He quit training 10 years ago, but we are still involved in the industry, and you don't find a lot of people that do that stay involved. So it is difficult finding those that have the time, have the hours, have the energy to stay involved.
Hmm. You mentioned Sam's girlfriend or widowed girlfriend, Kristen
Yes.
Watanabe. Is she still involved to some degree?
No, she hasn't been involved with day-to-day running of the foundation in quite a while. When we kind of moved from California to New Mexico, when I moved 10 years ago, she got off the board, and she still keeps up with everything that goes on, as do Sam's parents and Sam's sister. They all stay involved or stay in the know of what's going on, but they're not
Mhm.
involved in day-to-day operations.
Gotcha. What are you guys hoping to accomplish then? I mean, what drives you to keep going?
What I my hope for this foundation is to create an endowment, and we're on our way to getting there, to where we're not so focused on having fundraisers every few months, where we have the money built up and it's growing on its own to always be able to give back, so we can continually send kids to school. They can go to vocational schools, they can go to college without worrying about graduating with a huge load of debt, and that we can also continue to help those that are injured. There's always someone in need. Someone needs their car payment paid because they are injured and can't work for a month. Or, there's just so many different things that we'd love to be able to know that they'll be taken care of in years to come without us busting our rears to have fundraisers all the time and continually asking sponsors for money and all of those
Hmm.
For those for those people that might have considered starting a foundation just on the edge of wondering if they should or shouldn't, what would you say to them to motivate them to start it? And also, what are some ideas on what worked for you?
you got to have the passion, and you got to be willing to put in the time, because it takes hours upon hours of getting it all. You got to have the right people involved. You got to have attorneys. You got to have accountants. You got to have people who are willing to give you good advice to keep it going and to make sure you're doing it correctly. There's a lot of things that go into it rather than just filing for your 501c3 status. You got to really be passionate about it. Take the time, spend the hours researching, to make sure you're doing it right.
Right. Tons of work goes into it just to not only start it, but keep it going. Find the people that help you, try to sell that passion or that kind of that blueprint of what you're trying to do with it. And hopefully everybody will get on the same page. Can you give us maybe some examples of past recipients and how you've helped them, what they've done with the money, and maybe how they've stayed involved?
You talking about scholarship side or people who were
Either
injured
or.
or either or? We've helped a lot of different people. We've helped paralyzed riders get back in the saddle by having custom saddles made. Oscar Andrade was that one. He
Mm.
wanted to ride a horse again. So we had a custom saddle made for him where he could ride a horse again.
Wow.
We had a jockey up in Canada, Alyssa Solman, who wanted to be in the barn again. So we had a wheelchair made for her that was like an off-roading wheelchair where she could be back in the barn. She could be involved again. We've had jockeys go down that just can't make their car payments, and they got to be able to drive to get to physical therapy. Oscar Ceballos is the most recent one of those that we helped out. Then and I would say we've probably given back to 45 or 50 of those that have been injured on the backside.
Wow.
And as far as the scholarship side, we've given 275 scholarships
Wow.
in
Wow.
the past almost 9 years.
How do people apply? Is that an online application that's due at a certain time every year?
It is. We have spring and fall applications. We're now seeing that a lot of the ones who have been through all 4 years of school are graduating. And we have a sash that they get to wear or they can wear for their graduation to show that, they've been supported by the Sam Thompson Foundation all 4 years or 5 years of their college career. That they can apply. Usually the fall scholarships are due in July and the spring are due in December. And it's on our website, it's on social media, it's everywhere. And as long as you meet the requirements, we're going to help you.
Hmm. That's fantastic. And I know AQHA used to do that. I don't know if they do it anymore, but they had a foundation where they help with scholarships. And I know because I actually received one when I was going to school. So I was one of the few jockeys actually pursuing an education at the same time as writing. And it helped me immensely, continue to get my education. I remember they told me when they made the announcement that I'd won the scholarship that they said, now listen, you better stay hooked to this industry and stay involved because we expect you to contribute back on the other side. So I guess I'm one of the dummies that couldn't get away from it. I hooked into this racing thing, and I've spent a heck of a lot more money in racing than that scholarship was worth. I can tell you that. I'm not sure if it actually helped anybody but the trainers and the vets. But so tell us a little bit to wrap up this conversation with the foundation and other people that are involved. What you'd like to say to people who have spent time helping you and staying involved in it, either now or in the past, to keep this thing going.
To keep this foundation going, I've relied on a lot of the board members. Greg Thompson, he helps us with our marketing a ton. Dave Weaver from FanDuel is big involved in helping me host and put on events. Dina Lackey's right there on the grounds, helping me make sure everything's taken care of when we're hosting a golf tournament or we've got t-shirt sales or, any of the different events, the scholarships, silent auctions. We've got scholarship recipients, families who are involved and still involved. They come to every event. They help us with different events. Then we've got sponsors like Track Magazine that's been amazing to us. We've got FanDuel as one of our big title sponsors for a lot of events. We can't do it without people like that.
Yeah. It's fantastic. You guys have grown and done what you've done. I know it's just a lot of positive vibes about it, a lot of good energy. When we go to the Rio Doso sales, you guys have your big display there every year, selling and raffling items for the scholarship, I imagine.
Yeah, that's all the scholarship fundraiser at Rio Doso.
How do people get involved from that standpoint? Are you looking for items and donation items?
We're always looking for donations. We try to create a unique group of or assorted group of items that we offer via silent auction in Rio Doso. And we love having people reach out to us, contact us. We always have a flyer a couple months ahead before an event with my contact information, the foundation email. All they got to do is reach out to us and say, hey, I've got this historic memorabilia. We think it'd be great for your silent auction. And we get a lot of those donations, and it's what really helps us survive.
Yeah, it works out really well. I think you guys do a super good job over there, and it's always a great display of items. So I know we've bought a few things in the past.
Yeah, a couple.
Kate's always looking at the whiskey displays and stuff like that. I
We
compete.
have an amazing sponsor from Sazerac, which is Buffalo Trace, um, Blanton's, and they sponsor multiple events for us throughout a year. So we get quite rare bottles that people can't just go buy in the store that are very popular.
I'll say.
Good.
They had a trip a few years ago. What was it, to Greece? Something like
Yeah,
that. I
I
know
believe we
Paul
had one to
Jones was trying to
Greece
buy it
and
on
one to
swim.
Africa.
Oh, wow. Africa, huh?
Hmm.
Well, we're going to have to get involved in that again. So looking forward to seeing what you have available this year. I hope
Thank you.
people listening, if you have the motivation and the desire to take a look at this foundation, the good cause and the great work that they're doing, jump on. How do they contact you guys other than that?
We've got our website, the samthompsonfoundation.org. They can reach out to me on my cell phone number, and it's on the website. You can email us. Facebook, we have a great Facebook presence where you can reach out and look up Sam Thompson Memorial Foundation on Facebook. Send us a message, comment on a picture. We're always available. We get back to you pretty quickly. We've got, I think, 6 of our board members that watch that Facebook page and respond to make sure we get back to everyone.
Yeah, fantastic. It's so needed and so necessary in this industry where jockeys are often the forgotten people, and even on the backside, the folks that make it all happen, the grooms and people that there's so many people that are required in order to enjoy and to participate in horse racing and to watch a horse race. There's countless hours that goes into it before the fans get to show up and just watch that race that might only last for 17 or 20 seconds, and then on to the next one. But an unbelievable amount of time that has gone into preparing not only the horse but all the athletes, the human athletes as well, to get up to that level of competition. So, Laura, thanks so much for joining us today. It was such an enlightening, quite question and answer session about the foundation.
Thank you so much for having me.
We look forward to talking to you again down the road here soon.
Perfect. We will see you soon.
All right,
Thank you.
everybody. Hope you enjoyed that show, and stay tuned for the next one. You'll watch us every couple of weeks here on Harnessing Your Wealth.
Thank you for listening. For more information about today's show, please check out the show notes. Visit our website at www.petersonws.com or give us a call at 801-475-4002. Peterson Wealth Services is a registered investment advisor. This is a paid-for advertisement. Information presented on this program is believed to be factual and up-to-date, but we do not guarantee its accuracy, and it should not be regarded as a complete analysis of the subjects discussed. Discussions and answers to questions do not involve the rendering of a personalized investment advice, but are limited to the dissemination of general information. A professional advisor should be consulted before implementing any of the options presented. Peterson Wealth Services.